Weak ass clap.
Not a weak ass clap.
A weak ass clap.
Whack.
We're back. Never too shy. As you can see, it's 2 out of 3 today. But you know what? Well, technically, producer Marco makes 3. But we are in the building. Hello, Paulina here,
Tati here.
and we're back with another episode because why the hell would we not be back? And this is like a girls episode. Like this is ladies' night. So Marco's a part of ladies' night.
I'm the Uber driver.
Yes.
Ladies' night, yeah. Set the tone.
We're at ladies' night.
Boys, enjoy. I'm
Yes,
just kidding.
Right, kind of, I guess.
No, right? Or we gonna
Or
talk hella
girls.
shit. I don't know.
Or we're gonna just talk all this shit in the world. But shall we start with our affirmations?
Yes.
You go first?
Do you want me to go first?
I always
feel
love
like
when you go
that's a
first.
thing. Okay.
You set it off.
So my affirmation is take space, make space.
Ooh.
So I feel like this could apply to just like being the women at the table, like make space. And if you can't make it, you take that space. And even as like a Latino, it's Hispanic Heritage Month. Shout out to the Latinos. And I feel like there's been so much growth and our culture is definitely representing in all platforms. Shout out to Karol G and Shakira. Sorry, Colombia's
my
in the house.
God.
But anyway, so yeah, take space, make space.
I love that a lot. Yeah, we threw an event with iHeart, the company I work for, and like we did an event called Take Up Space, and it was literally like about women in different industries coming
I
together.
went.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
the
you were
panel.
there.
I
You
was there.
Supported my panel.
I was there.
It was really really cool to see that. So you're right. Taking up space is so important. Making space too, and when you even brought up like Shakira and Karol G, I think of it as like, listen, I don't care what anybody says. I feel like Shakira really paved the way for so many. And I think Karol G like knew that, like at the VMAs, for example, right? Like seeing them in their bond and just like seeing the way that, I don't know, Karol G is just an angel, perfect angel regardless. She's my perfect angel.
She is.
But I can just see the way that she knows, like Shakira and these other Latinas like really paved the way when it comes to their careers as well. I really do believe that, and it's important to do that in all industries and all waves, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Gotta make space, take up space, and bring those up with you. I love
Period.
it. I love it. Okay, so my affirmation is I really don't have one, but I'm gonna make one up right now. Cause why the hell not?
Why not? That should be your affirmation.
Why the hell not?
Why the hell not?
Wait, I love that.
Yeah.
Why the hell not?
Why the hell not?
I'm kind of like in that era, like I don't know, like I feel, which is really rare for me, but like, cause I love fall time. Like this is the time where
You're one of those.
fucking thrive, girl. Like I thrive. You don't love it?
You know me, I'm a summer girl.
What's so cool about summer though, besides time off, hot weather?
I'm a fall person, bro.
I love fall.
Summer's overrated.
Thank you.
Never that. Never that.
Overrated.
What do you love about it though?
I don't have to wear as much clothes.
Okay, fair.
I'm off of work. Well, I mean, I still work, but for the most part, I'm off of work.
Unless you're in school and you're like,
which I am,
12.
but still.
Right.
Boat season.
I hate boats. I get
Water
seasick.
parks.
No, I don't go to water parks.
Well, since I'm off work, that's the time I could travel the most and like spend
Okay.
time with my friends and family. Time I can't spend with them like during
The school year.
the school year.
Are you allowed to take time off school year or not really?
I mean, you have 10 sick days, 3 personal days.
but that's tough though. You're not gonna
And,
like
holidays.
go to
Yeah.
Europe and stuff.
Like I'm gonna go to your wedding on the weekend.
Oh,
when you have
yeah.
it, but like I don't have to miss work because we don't
Amazing.
have work that Monday, so that was kind of smart. So
Summers.
I'm leaving Saturday morning and I'm coming back Monday night. I don't have to miss work.
Yeah. See,
So
that works out.
summer is just
vibe for you?
I'm a Leo. I think you could do a whole montage of me just talking about being a Leo, but
It doesn't ever get too hot some days. You're like, this really.
I would take the hot, scorching heat versus a blizzard and 30 below zero.
Nah, bro.
I know that's winter and not fall, but still, if it's fall, that means it's closer to winter.
You can always put clothes on. You can never take off.
But I don't want to have to wear layers of clothes. Ugh.
So don't leave your house. You have Netflix. You have Uber.
How am I going to work? How am I going to go to school? How am
sounds
I
like-
going to do this podcast?
sounds like
How am I
you
going to
need-
dance? How am I going to live the life I was born to live?
How's she gonna live?
Hey man, it sounds like you
Exactly.
need to go to Miami. That's what it sounds like.
I mean, I love me some Miami, but we going to be in Vegas about 3 weeks or
I'm
so.
so
something
excited.
Like that.
It's like actually ridiculous. But no, I was saying that like I feel like I was going through I don't even know what it was. I just wasn't feeling like myself, right? And I feel like we all kind of go through that, and it's like a different seasonal type thing, especially with like winter time, people go through seasonal depression. So in the summer, you wouldn't think that, but I wasn't feeling summer or end of summer.
No, you know what?
know?
You're not the only one who said that. I think it's because the weather, especially the beginning of summer, was trash.
Yeah.
It was raining a lot. It wasn't consistently like beautiful days. Because you're not the only one who said that.
Yeah, that's interesting. So for me, when I say like, why the hell not, to my, to my affirmation, I feel like it's just a way of getting over that hump. I don't know if it's the fall weather making me in a better mood or just like life, but I feel better. I'm taking action. Like I've been eating like shit these past couple weeks. Like it's been bad. And drinking soda. I don't drink soda since I was like 14. So I'm leaning off of it. I have my fizzy, whatever it's called, water, where like it's the
Bougie
bubbly,
water.
the boobly, yeah.
I call it bougie water.
The
Bougie
bubbly
water.
water. And I just like, I need to like get better. Like today I felt like I ate better, and it's like working out, moving, like being busy. Like these things make me happy. And I do think that like our health is important, obviously, but I feel like our physical health and our mental health align so much. And like,
Oh, absolutely.
and I'm like, so if I take care of my physical health, maybe my mental health will get better. So I was trying to put those two together.
That's a good strategy.
So, yeah, I'm kind of like on that right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. Trying to be better over here.
Yeah, because you're going to be Mrs. soon.
Exactly.
So you got to come into that just ready, feeling your best self.
Crazy. That is crazy. I think about that more than I should. That's crazy.
That's crazy because I feel like we're only going to record 2 more episodes until
We're done. We're gone.
Oh yeah, we
The
out.
party.
We out in Vegas.
until we outside.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. But
I'm excited. So, producer Marco, what is your affirmation?
oh shit. Okay.
I just feel
On the
like
spot.
when we're missing somebody, you just have to do an affirmation.
Yeah.
I have to do
That's
affirmation.
just the rule.
Affirmation is don't doubt yourself. So
Love it.
you know, a lot of the times people feel like they can't do something because they've never done it, or they feel like because they're not in the position. And what I tell people, especially people who are a lot younger, I always say like, just do, right? Like in your 20s, in my opinion, your 20s are for you to like mess up, just to do as much as you want. If you want to start a business, you want to start a career, you want to start a side hustle, you want to do something, do it, because you still have time to, fix any mistakes you've made and also find out what you're really passionate about. And then as you get older, don't doubt yourself, right? Don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone. Because if it's for your career, if it's for your social network, as far as people if it's for whatever it is, don't doubt yourself because you can do it. It's just you that is holding yourself back by having that thought, that mindset in yourself saying that I can't do it because I've never done this, or I've never been this, or I've never been here, I've never done this. That's kind of my affirmation is don't doubt yourself.
Wow. Thank you for allowing us to come to your TED Talk.
I know, right?
That was great.
I do
Yeah.
TED Talk very often, but in my own head sometimes.
I was a speaker yesterday
Yeah?
for After School Matters. They asked me to be like a content specialist speaker.
Ooh.
And I was like planning what I was going to present on like 30 minutes before in the car on the way there. And I actually loved what I came up with. Like,
What'd you come up with?
It came from the heart. Just like, how do I run my program? Like, how do I structure my philosophy of teaching and being an instructor? And I feel like that goes along with both, actually all 3 of our affirmations, because they were like, oh, we want you to be a speaker and lead this. Well, why the heck not, right?
Yeah.
And then like, don't doubt yourself, because it's
Yeah.
like, why would people want to hear from me? I'm like, why would they not want to hear from me?
Hey.
Because I'm gonna make space.
'Cause I'm
And I'm
amazing.
gonna take space.
Hey.
No, but I just talked about like how I structure my program and ultimately do everything, lead with joy, and to remind students that they're geniuses and that they're brilliant and they belong here, which is true. Like all our teens and students need to know they belong wherever they're at, and the space is what they make it. And so tough love is still love.
Yeah.
So you have to hold them accountable, especially as teenagers. And just give a little bit of extra love where you feel like you need to.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty great.
Look at you doing a TED Talk on the fly.
Right. My TED Talk friends over here.
Look at us. A TED Talk with Tati.
TED Talk with Tati.
Theories with Tati, TED Talk with Tati, Talk Shit with Tati.
Ooh,
Every
branding.
Monday.
Just tease everything
Every Monday.
every Monday. Wait,
I
Monday?
love it.
Yeah. We'll do a
We
new
drop
show. We'll
one
do a new show for
Monday.
you.
We do? I thought we dropped
No,
on
we
Wednesdays.
drop Wednesdays.
I don't even know what day we drop.
But
We drop Wednesday. If you're watching this, it's Wednesday.
but Mondays for Tati's shit talking show.
Yes.
Oh, okay, got you.
Oh my God, this is the Women Crush Wednesday episode.
This
Women
is
Crush Wednesday. Who is your Women
WCW.
Crush Wednesday?
Paulina's my Women Crush Wednesday. You want to know why?
What?
I want to know
You
why.
want to know why?
Why?
Because Paulina keeps it fucking real.
Stop that right now.
You do keep it real though.
You keep
Like,
it real.
I feel like you're very like what you said, like why the fuck not? Like, you know what? I just woke up from a nap. Here I am. I don't care. I showed up. Whatever. I don't know what my affirmation is, but here it is, whatever. Yeah, I'm barely getting my dress fitting, but it's getting fitted, right? It's whatever. So I just feel like you're just you keep it very transparent, and I think you're super humble. And I think it's dope, like the moves you make in the community. Like specifically, you're doing the Latino panel again.
Yes. Yes.
Like I think you've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
So I think just again, like being a part of spaces where women, specifically Latina women, could feel like they could share their genius, their skill, because there's a lot of stereotypes around Latina women.
And we're gonna get into that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's important to give women who work hard to build a name for themselves outside of what stereotypes there may be, a voice. And I think you're part of that. So I think that's great.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I love you. You're so sweet. I'm gonna give you a hug.
I am
And I'm knocking my microphone over. And you're my WCW. And
wasn't planned, by the way.
at all. I swear to God. And I want to just tell you because to me, when I think about you or talk about you or even look at you, I just get so inspired. And you do so much. And I know you do, but like, girl, like you do a lot. And that's for your family, for yourself, for your community, for your students. It's a lot. And sometimes I will look at myself and I'll be like, you said, wake up from a nap and then I'm like, oh, this and that. Oh, I don't feel like doing that. And I'm like, Tati just did like 500 things within the past 3 hours as I was napping. And I feel like you're just so inspirational. And I know that like your students, the fact that they like still keep in contact with you and communicate with you and speak so highly of you, like that says something, you know what I mean? And I'm sure like everyone in your life could say the same thing, you know what I mean? Like you're a loyal ass girl. I think it's because it's the Leo in you. You're super, super passionate, hardworking. I do think you're humble. I think you're beautiful. And I think all of these things make you you. So like never change. Ever.
Oh, she's so sweet. Look at us. And that's one thing I feel like a lot of people say podcasts with just women. Nothing against you, Nestor, okay? But they say like podcasts against women, a lot of people feel like they are not as effective or they don't succeed because it's almost like some type of competition, like constantly trying to one up one another. And I love that we could have this space and it doesn't ever feel that way.
That's so weird. That's so fucking weird to me. I don't know.
It is.
When women start going up against each other, I never understood that.
No.
And I'm not just saying that because like we're friends and we're here, we're talking about this. Like I genuinely mean that.
Right.
I never understood that. And unfortunately, I do see that on a semi-daily basis. And I'm just like, bro, like why can't we just all win or all like uplift each other or like just have each other's back? Like it's already tough out there, regardless, like for just women, period. And like I think about that and I'm like, that makes me sad.
It does. And I feel like we don't have to be politically correct and be like, we should all just love each other. Women stand together. There's some women you just don't like naturally, or like you don't really get along with them per se. We're not saying you have to be friends with everybody, but I do think you stoop to a level when you just spend time bad mouthing somebody. You could not like somebody and not want to associate with them without talking shit.
Couldn't agree more.
Like, I feel like there's people that are not like my favorite people, but I'm the type of person where I could still compliment them. Like, you know what? I don't like her. She's fake. She's immature, but like she does great makeup. Ooh. I'll give her that. She's a great dancer. But like, I just don't respect their character, but that doesn't mean I'm out here talking shit about them.
Fair.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, that's just a waste of space, waste of energy. And it doesn't look good. Like, as a woman, like, that's not a trait you want to carry with you. That's not cute.
I don't think so, no. Plus, like, I think for the most part, when you're hating on another person, I think, and then this is like the little woo-woo spiritualness in me, but I think that only fucks up your aura, and that only blocks your blessings. You know what I mean? Like you said, I don't have to necessarily like you in that sense or like be your bestie. No one's saying that, but I always say like I will respect you and like your craft or whatever it is. You're a great makeup artist, you're a great dancer, you're great this. Maybe I don't think your character is all that, or maybe not a character I'd vibe with, right? Because I'm still human and you're human, and we vibe with our people the way we vibe, you know? Right. So I don't know. I do think that like, you know, bringing someone else down or at least trying to attempt to do that only kind of messes up you.
For sure.
If that makes sense.
Do you feel like, kind of keeping on the topic of like women, but do you feel like men do that to women when they feel that they're intimidated? Like they feel like in order to prove a point versus a woman, they have to like talk down on them or like feel like they're bigger than them in any sense?
I absolutely do. And I've seen that from both men and women, like the talking down, making me like try to make somebody, you know, feel bigger. I'm trying to feel bigger than you are.
Right.
With men though, like I have so many theories around men. I'm sorry, men's, wherever you are. I have so many theories. I think that men are more dramatic than women. I do think that they're like in the dramas way more than women. Believe it or not, I do. And then I also feel like, I don't know, like the men carry bigger egos. So if a woman rejects them or tries to step up to them, that's a whole other thing. I know.
We could get into it. Yeah.
Get into it.
I'm only saying that because recently, like a few weeks ago, I was, we'll say a conversation. You guys know the story. It wasn't, you know, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
We'll say a conversation. At least I thought it was. And this male made a statement saying that ethnic women, so Latinas, whatever you consider ethnic, are shallow and uneducated. And so the reasoning behind his statement was that when men try to talk to them, they're quick to deny them.
Women of color.
Yeah. His words were ethnic women.
Ethnic women.
But yes.
Of course he would say that.
And then he said that's why most men rather be with white girls. And so I pushed back, obviously, on that statement because I come from a long line of educated women, and I'm educated myself, right? But it was the fact that he said, we deny men, which make us shallow. So when I asked to elaborate, he's like, well, you know, if we were to go up to you in a grocery store or whatever, you're quick to be like, ew, get away from me. Like, ew, I don't want to talk to you. Like, deny him. But it's like we have every right to not be interested. I don't understand how that makes us shallow. And it's interesting that he said it's ethnic women. Like, that goes along with the stereotype of like Latinas are feisty and they're they're this. But that sat with me for a long time. Like, what people actually think this.
Well, to preface, a hot take, I don't think a lot of these podcasters believe their own shit. I don't. I mean, everybody wants the clicks. Everybody wants the conversation, because the minute you say that on a platform, doesn't matter if it's a, you know, huge platform, #1 in the world, or your podcast in the basement, aka what we used to do. Shout out to The Upgrade.
Hey.
No, but like, as far as like having an opinion and saying it on a platform, like, you're gonna get feedback, comments, you're going to get trolls, you're going to get people who agree with you, you're going to get a conversation going. I don't believe people believe that. I think people just say ish, and I think the conversation you're referring to, I'm going to call it a conversation, is just a sack of shit, because it's the, in radio, we call it the shock jock value, where you just say something shocking. It's like this old reference to like Howard Stern. He kind of created it, but Howard Stern's also a legend, and half the shit he said in his coming up era would 99% of the stuff would never fly today. And you know what I mean? The stuff
Cancel
they did,
culture.
And he said, oh my God. But he's just such an icon and a legend, and he truly did create that shock jock stuff, which now it's funny because it's like when you try to be a shock jock, it's like, bro, like,
for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, everyone can see through it. It's like, it's a big fat no. But
yeah,
that's the first thing I wanted to say is like, I don't know if they believe it.
And I agree because like, in this conversation, like I was prefaced that like, you know, entertainment, this is entertainment. But what also got me was when I talk about like feeling overpowered and a man being intimidated. Yeah. Every time I would talk, I got interrupted. I got cut off. And I got yelled at. Like literally.
Who the hell yelled at
No,
you?
like literally, like this person was screaming over me, like raising his voice. It's like talking louder doesn't make you sound smarter.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I'm sorry that happened to you.
But I kept it real cool. I kept it like a G. I'm a thug.
Of course you would. No, I'm not even, that doesn't surprise me. I'm actually just shocked though that, yeah, like I said, the person would bring this to a platform and say those kind of comments. But like I said, everybody wants the clicks. Everybody wants, this poppin' podcast, whatever. Do your thing, 21. I don't give a shit. But what I'm trying to say is also towards that comment and stuff like that, I do feel like that comes from such an ignorant space. Like you said, it's the stereotype. I think this individual has been hurt by a quote ethnic woman. So maybe she was Middle Eastern, maybe she was Latina. I don't know what she was.
Right.
Point is, he was hurt by somebody. Okay. I'm sorry. When men start talking like that, it comes from a deeper place, in my opinion. But I also think it's very interesting that, for example, a white woman would be held to a different standard in their heads. You know what I mean? To say that they're easier to approach, it sounds like, or to date. I think that's really interesting.
You know what? As you're saying that, I could almost see a flip side of what I personally hear from like Middle Eastern and Latin ethnic women, especially older ones, saying like more and more like you need to find a white boy.
Ooh.
And the reasoning behind that is like it's not necessarily that machismo energy. And again, I'm just quoting. Okay.
Right.
It's not necessarily that machismo energy and that like the white guy is the one that's going to pick the apples with you and he's going to do the housework with you and he's going to help you take care of your children. And I wonder what it is. Like what it is about you white people. I mean, she's half, but
Yes.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, because there are so many cases where I've heard women say, you need to get you a white boy.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing and very interesting because when I think of the term white, though, just bouncing off of like what you're saying, I think American because European, especially like I'm half Eastern European, like I've always said this, like we're very similar to Hispanic culture as far as like, like traditions and Christmas and family and drinking, like we do it all. If we're gonna like, name things that like are very similar, but they say, and I'm on Eastern European TikTok right now, I'm an algorithm, and there's this one chick who makes videos, and she'll be like those videos that'll be like Eastern European girls on a first date, and then she'll like and then she'll say American girls on a first date, how American girls are like, yeah, I'll split the bill with you 50-50, here you go. It's an example. And then she goes to Eastern European girl on a first date, and she'll be like,
right.
you know what I mean?
Bill?
Like it's very different. Like there's a bill, okay,
Yeah.
like you know what I mean? So it's like, according to like what I'm seeing and obviously like my upbringing, like Eastern European women like have high standards when it comes to dating. So I don't know if it's like white or American, because I always say like when I think of a white boy, I don't think of like a Polish boy or an Albanian boy.
I get what
think
you're saying.
of a California surfer
Yeah.
who was born here, you know what I mean, or a little boy from Wisconsin, like
Right.
a white boy, and who to me like
Plays lacrosse or something.
right, and doesn't carry a sense of culture. And by that, I mean, like, there's no second language. There's no attachment to the homeland. They're just here being white, like, white and happy.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
No,
so,
I
like,
get it.
I'm curious because, yeah, like, when that person mentioned white girl and you said white boy, that's interesting because I have a confession. I've never been, this is so fucked up.
I've never dated a white boy.
I've never been attracted to a white man.
No, I
no,
don't. I don't think I have either. Like I like Channing Tatum. I mean, like
they're cute.
celebrity
Of course,
ones.
yeah.
What's the one that died from Fast and Furious?
Oh, Paul Walker.
Paul Walker, Channing Tatum.
Yeah, and they're handsome, cute.
Yeah, they're handsome, but like in real life, like reality.
Like if you were to meet Channing, let's say he worked at like Pep Boys or something.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
would
yeah.
you?
If
go
he
out with
looked
him?
exactly like Channing Tatum, yes, but no, I agree with you. I don't think I've actually like
Dated a white
seen,
guy.
Not even just. I don't think I've seen a white boy and I was like, wow. No offense.
Right? No,
If
no.
you are white and identify
we
as a
love
man,
you.
no offense.
Thanks for watching. But I'm just like, no, same. Like, and I always wondered if I was the only one, because I do actually know one girl. She's Ecuadorian, fully from there too, who married a white guy, and she always loved white men. Like she would like, I mean, she dated like other cultures. She's a friend of a friend, so like I would see her around, I'd go out with her and stuff. So she's been with a couple of like white guys that I remember. But then she ended up marrying one, and this is like the whitest. I mean, this is like finance bro Chad she married, which is really like, because when I saw her, like, and she actually has a son with another Ecuadorian man, so I always thought like, okay, that's her type. I don't know. I just assumed, which is not right, but I did. So like when she married this white guy, I was like, oh my God, this is so interesting. But I think also it's because in her environment, that's what she was around. She went to school with the white kids. So I think that could have a big play in it.
For sure.
Because like, I feel like too, like they say like people say when a woman of color too, like marries a white guy, let's just say white, right? Like, and that could be like a black woman, a Latina, Middle Eastern girl. They're often called sellouts to their own culture. And I think that's really interesting. I don't like that. I don't agree with it.
No, of course. I actually never heard that.
You never heard that?
No.
When a black woman marries a white guy?
No, I mean, I've never heard that. Just because
actually
like...
the opposite. I'm sorry. When a black
I've
man
heard. Yes.
marries a white woman.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
That one I have heard.
Yes.
100%. I have not heard the opposite.
The opposite, I think, is more comical. They'll be like, "Ooh, like this white boy got a fine ass."
What's the song? I got white boy on my roster.
Yeah.
He be eating me lobster or
Literally.
something like that.
So I think like when the roles are reversed and it's like a black woman and a white man, I think sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, like oh, he must," you know what I mean? Like, good for you, my guy. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
But when it's the opposite, it's it's terrible. It can get really terrible. And I don't agree with that. Like as a mixed kid, like I will always forever ride for my mixed people. And love is love. I don't care. Like if you love someone who is from your same culture or you love somebody who is not from your same culture. I think, I mean, look at us. Like, hi. Like,
hello, we are the mixed queen.
Right. Like I love it. I'm very here for it.
Same. Absolutely. Did you see... This was something posted a long time ago where they posted this is a long time ago. They posted a picture of what the future like population would look like and like light skin, colored eyes, curly, like textured hair. Mixed AF. And I'm here for it.
I was so here for it. When I saw that, I was like, what a beautiful person. Like that is amazing. What are your thoughts, producer Marco, on stereotypes against Latinas, or even like when it comes to dating in our dating worlds? Like, what are your thoughts?
I think that a lot of this has to do with people and how they were raised, right? In the typical like Hispanic and traditional conservative household, which is Hispanic, Middle Eastern, and Eastern European, women are always seen as like the homemakers, right? The ones that cook, they clean, they make sure the kids are fine, they take care of the home, and they have no financial responsibility on the house, right?
Correct.
So, and nowadays it's difficult to have that, especially in the United States, where it's a single income household for you to stay home and take care of the kids and everything else. Also, we have to remember that a lot of the times we are only 1 or 2 generations away from women not being able to have their own bank accounts.
Right.
So like my mom, when she was born, was not able to have a bank account by herself. Like she needed her husband to allow her to, which is crazy. Yeah. So we're still in that mindset of, okay, now that that's filtering out of our society, it's changing. I grew up with a lot of very powerful women in my life, and women who were always, in positions of authority and power and control. So I never saw women as like homemakers. I always saw women as producers, as bosses, as things like that, because that's how I grew up. So it wasn't necessarily for me that a woman has to be that. I think that that's the most important part. I know a lot of people who, they grew up with their mom staying at home and they're staying at home and that's it. Or I grew up with like single income household and everything else. And they want to continue that like conservative path. And I think to each their own, right? There's people who want that, like who want to be a stay-at-home mom, who want to be, a homemaker, and there's women who want to have their own career, who want to have freedom, who want to do that. There's people who want to have 50-50 duties. So I just think it's hilarious that like you think that white boys are just like the most boring. Like
I don't think they're boring. I just think like physically, I've never seen one been like, wow,
Want to jump your bones?
never.
I really have. I'm not even being funny. Like
No.
besides celebrities, obviously, like they're handsome, they're in movies, they're singers. Like okay,
But no, I can attest that
Yeah.
a lot of women on my Middle Eastern and Colombian side married white men.
they did.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because they don't
and
have to
they're
deal with the patriarchy.
and they are great husbands.
Yeah, of
Oh, I
course.
So
love
like
that.
I could agree just based off of my own personal experience. I could agree with that statement just to the extent of the ones I know.
Yeah, and I think it's
Fair.
like, being a dad, and I relate everything to being a dad because I'm a dad. There's a lot of things where you're like, the last generation of fathers, like they don't know how to change a diaper, right? Something like 80% of dads never changed a diaper before like 1990.
Yeah.
Which is like crazy to me. Like, you never changed a diaper. So, Lucy actually just sent me a TikTok today where it's like all these stories of like, why did women get divorced and like in their marriages? And they're all by like women who have children, right? And it's like everything of like, I was in labor and my husband decided to sleep through my entire labor.
That's my mom.
and didn't help
my
me at
God.
all. Or like,
Yo, is my mom on TikTok?
I guess so.
I
guess so.
That's my mom's story.
Or it's like
woke up right before
I
I came
had
out.
cancer and my husband didn't want to cook for me, so he made eggs for
I
himself.
saw that same TikTok today.
Right? Like
that's
that
so
same
funny.
shit.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that's not funny, but the TikTok I saw that too.
Algorithms.
tragic.
So it's like, the older generation or the more, conservative generation where like that's what it was, right? Like our mothers or the women in our lives who were in these traditional like marriages and relationships were really affected by that, right? Because
Yeah.
like you got no help. It was like, all right, cool, you got the kids later. Like I don't do nothing. I just get home and I do that. And so, I think it's I'm all for mixed. I actually never thought I was going to marry a Mexican woman.
Really?
Yeah, never. Never
Because you
thought.
said you dated a lot of white girls, right?
Yeah, but it was never like in my mind, like we never thought it was gonna be.
Was it
Mexican
because of like the people that you were surrounded by? Did you just feel?
I guess so. Like I grew up in very like white schools. I went. All my friends were white. Or ethnic as far as like Italian, Greek, things like that.
Right.
So it was just always. It was never. I never thought about that. Like it never even like crossed my mind. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna marry a good Mexican girl from this town in Pueblito and things like that. So it just goes to show you never know. And like I don't think
For
our
sure.
household is very like me and Lucy. I don't think our household is very traditional. We have a funny joke that like in our group of friends we're kind of like the middle because we have other friends who are like super conservative, like old school, like Mexican style, and then we have other group of friends who have like crazy colored hair and super liberal and like crazy on the other side. So we're just always kind of like in the middle, but. Yeah, I think marry who you want to marry who you're happy with, and
Absolutely.
don't feel like you have to be with someone because of anything else besides yourself. That's the biggest thing.
I agree.
I don't
Like,
disagree with that at all.
Doesn't matter if your family wants you to marry an ethnicity of
Yeah.
this or that.
It's so tough. I mean, thank God I never like lived through that. I don't think you have either. I don't think your parents would
No,
ever. No.
no.
But I do hear stories like that where
you have to marry this person.
yeah, and it's awful in my opinion. Or if they find out they're dating somebody from a different race, it's terrible. And I think that's not right to do to your child, to anybody that you love. Like you should trust your child or your whatever, your friend, your sibling, whatever, that they're dating a good person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
Genuine.
people can come from different backgrounds and be good people, right? It's
100%. I mean, yes, that's not even a question. I agree with that. I just hate that, like, sometimes I see this where it's like parents will get mad if their kid, comes home with somebody of a different race or whatever. I think that's so tacky. I think it's so old school thinking. I think it's actually just terrible thinking as a human to judge somebody based on their skin tone or based on their appearance or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, because they're not where you're from necessarily. You know what I mean? Like they're the opposite literally of what you are. Like that's awful to me. I never want to do that to my kid.
Even think about like sexuality, right? In a lot of like traditional households, like if you come out, Nestor's not here, but if you come out as, gay, like you're shunned, right? Like you can't have your partner over. Like I know people
Yeah.
who like their mother is, maybe like 90s and they're like 40-year-olds and they still 40, 50, or actually 50.
No,
year olds
I
now.
know.
And they
I know
still
that.
don't bring up like their partner around their family. Like it's their partner. They've been together for like 30 years and they don't bring them around their family.
That
And
breaks my heart.
And it's just like a silent
No, it's a
agreement
real thing.
of like, I won't recognize it, but it's okay if you do it. Just don't bring it to me. And it's like, how heartbreaking that is, like as a parent. Like I imagine it's fucking like horrible. Like all I want is my kids to be happy.
That's
and like, why would I do that? And this also brings us to like the Barbie movie, which is a whole other thing too.
You saw it?
I did, and it literally made me realize like how shitty like fathers have been in the past.
Your fathers?
No, fathers in general.
I was like,
I'm like, I love your dad.
No, yeah, just because of like the story of it, of like if you really think about it, it's basically about how like the patriarchy has put down like women and not put them in positions of leadership roles and everything else. So the Barbie lives in this like utopia Barbie world, right? And like during the whole movie, I was just thinking about like who would not want their daughter to succeed? Like who wouldn't want put their daughter ahead of time? Like I look at my daughter, she's 7 months, and I'm just like, there would be never a point in my life where I would ever want her to be like second position to anyone or second choice or a second citizen. Like obviously, the world's a tough fucking world, and like patriarchy's still out there and boys club and everything else. And you have to be honest with everyone. Like you have to realize that that's the world we live in. Ideally it would change, but right now it hasn't yet. So as soon as we're still in this world, or for as long as we're still in that type of world, you'd have to be armed with that knowledge. But it just makes me realize like, damn bro, like a lot of shitty dads who've just always put their daughters down.
And I think when you mention patriarchy,
yeah,
I feel like there's people in this generation, Gen Z. Is that the one below?
I call them gens, but yes, gens.
Whatever they are.
One time I wrote gens, so now like it's a joke.
Yeah, whatever they are. They have, in my opinion, like they have it all messed up of what patriarchy is. And this reminds me of that TikTok video or that video of like a young girl. She looked like she was 21. And she was like, bring the patriarchy back. Bring it back. I want to stay home. I don't want to work. I'll take care of my kids. But it's like, that's not necessarily what the patriarchy is. Like, you don't understand, like, all your laws, your rights, that all gets taken away from you. And like, but like, she just say you want to be a stay-at-home mom.
Right. Yeah, and that's okay.
Just say that. Right.
That's just as respected.
Yeah, please say that's okay, Tati.
No, it is okay. No, it is. But I'm just saying, don't equate that to the patriarchy.
Right. Yeah. Of a bigger systemic
like I feel like that's the problem with like not having a sense of knowledge and just pure ignorance, because then you go viral for stuff like that and then people are like, yeah, and it's like, no, that's gonna take us backwards. Like, come on, boo-boo, sit down, do your research.
Yeah, I just want to get paid fairly. I want to get paid the same or more as a man. I want to, you know what I mean? Like be in positions of power and not be labeled a bitch, but a man comes in and he's labeled a boss. I think that's hilarious. So you know what I mean? Like there's just so many things that I want for us. And especially like as Latinas, like whatever. When people see us, that's one of the first things that they think. You know what I mean? Like when you see somebody, like, you see what they look like. That's just real. You know what I mean? So when a Latina or a Black woman are in positions of power, I truly believe it's more difficult for them than it would be for a white woman. And what I mean by that too is like they're going to be instantly labeled harder. They're going to be like criticized harder, in my opinion, because I've seen it time again and again and again, whatever. I've seen that shit, and that makes me so angry.
For sure. I was on, I think it was last year. I was on a panel with all women talking about like our different careers. And that was a common topic, that women felt like they were not treated equally to their male counterparts in their workplace. And one of the most interesting points that was made was actually from one of my friends, Aisha. Shout out to her. She's an engineer. Wow. And so she said, she came in, she was the only female Latina engineer. Yeah. And so she had to like work harder to prove that she deserved to be there. Right?
God, I hate this. I hate it.
And she was like, half the time, like I'm sitting at the table and I'm like smarter than some of these other dudes, right?
Of course.
But then at one point, I guess they would bring her into meetings and like they would like see her work and hear her and like see how she moves. And then the bosses started to like handpick her to like use her for projects. And she made a joke. She's like, we had to take a group picture. And they're like, we want her in the front center. She's like, but I think a big part of it is because I am the token woman,
yeah.
Latina.
Wow.
So it's you have to also think about like you want me in this space because you have nobody else and you want to look good, or do you have me in this space because you trust my work and you respect my skill?
Well, that's like going back to the conversation of like universities, right? When they choose like applicants, what is it called?
Affirmative action.
Exactly. Like, is it really that you got chosen because you're the best candidate or because you're a person of color? And so like, that's the argument as well. But no, I agree. I think that, you know, in all of my businesses and things that I do, women have always been the best partners, best coworkers, the best team leaders, the best everything. Like men, unfortunately, like Paulina said, men have really big egos and they need to be like the top dog in their like fields. Like they can't be that.
Nope.
And women tend to lead by example and men tend to lead from the back. And I think that that's very telling.
So interesting.
But yeah, no, all for women.
I love it. Do you think that like, not that you've changed or that your perspective has changed, because I do think you're a good human being all around, but do you think becoming a girl dad, a hashtag girl dad, has changed the way that you move or think?
I think honestly, it's like opened up my eyes to just like the patriarchy part of it. Cause like right now that you said that, right? Like she's the only Latina in that program, right? Like how many in my mind, like how many times has a young girl like gone to her parents and be like, oh, I want to do this program or I want to be this. And they're like, no, you can't do that because you're a woman, right? Or you can't do that because
that's got to be common, like, or at least like been said, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And
which
it's
is
like,
awful.
And it's like, I don't think I would like if my daughter's like, oh, I want to be an engineer. Great, go for it. Like, you want to do it? Do this. You want to be an attorney? You want to be a politician? You want to be whatever you want to be? So I think that's really opened up my eyes more to it because then it just puts it in perspective of like, you know, how further along we could have been. But yeah, that's the only thing that's really changed.
And I think at a young age, and we talked about this way like a long time ago, where I say like ethnic women, ethnic people, like they need people who look like them in positions of power in order to like mirror like, oh, I could do that. And that brings me to like Paulina's going to be on here and you spoke to my kids, but every year for Hispanic Heritage Month, I have like an all Latinx career panel. All speakers who are from Latino backgrounds come and talk to my students from different fields and not necessarily all college graduates, right? I have people in the trades. I have people with only a college diploma. I have people who with a master's. I have people from all aspects of life. And I think that's so crucial and so important. I think especially for women, mentorship is key. Like you have to find women that could lead you and guide you to resources in order for you to discover what you're good at, what you enjoy, and what you can make a difference in, what you can make space for. And so I think it's important to have more of these conversations of being very clear, laying out numbers. Like only 1% of Latinas have a PhD.
Yeah.
1%. Like
that is.
Let's talk about it. Why?
Yeah.
But why?
Are you asking us?
No, like that's just a
In
rhetorical
general.
question. Like, but why? I think there needs to be more conversations around that. Not like, oh, she's Latina. Let's, watch her dance because Latinas don't twerk, whatever. But I think it's just finding spaces for them that are not as common. I will say I think it's gotten better for sure.
I think so.
But
I think
there's always more work.
I think it's gotten better, but like I think it's gotten better on the surface level because like,
Absolutely.
the higher up you go, and like we had this conversation before too about like I think we were talking about like outfits are being judged by like how you look.
Who are
like,
the ones that
the
are
higher
making
up
the
you
decisions?
go, the people who make the decisions are still in that mindset. And I know that from firsthand knowledge, and it's a sucky situation, like really is, and it's not going to change until it's basically those people move on and people of our generation get into positions of power. That's when it'll change, hopefully. But there's a lot of people who are of our generation who don't really give a fuck, who want to be like the patriarchy, who want to have regular gender roles and want to do all this stuff. So I think the Andrew Tates of the world have really caused more problems and damage than we know.
Guys, please stop looking at these people like that hashtag, that quotation mark person. conversation that you were on or a part of.
Yeah.
The Andrew Tates. I mean, there's like 100,000 other ones I could probably name right now. And there's even some women who are really just spreading misinformation or really trying to start this like revolution that no one is fucking behind, because that's how they personally feel. And it's like, okay, honey, like that's okay, but that doesn't mean like other women want to live that way or other women even believe the shit you're saying.
And I think a part of that is this social media craze that
That's what it is.
I think became popular too when we talk about women who like are like the patriarchy. I think it's when women say like, "Oh, I want to be in my feminine energy, my soft girl era." Like again,
Soft life.
But but I think they're defining it wrong.
Yep.
They're
Agreed.
assuming soft girl era and feminine energy means like, oh, I just get a man to buy everything for me and I'm just kept in that way. And I feel like when I hear soft girl era, it means that I'm in a place of trust.
Yes.
And I feel confident where I could be vulnerable with a person
yes.
because I feel safe.
Yes.
But I could still be confident, beautiful, strong,
of course.
hardworking, outspoken,
Passionate.
and I could be that person with a partner that appreciates it
And supports you.
and supports it, and I'm safe to do so. That to me is like
when a woman's in her feminine energy.
being in her feminine energy.
Yeah, I think that.
sure.
I think that a lot of the times too is just like having that support, right? Like making sure that you have a partner who supports you
Yes.
and who like doesn't expect you to be this person that you're not, right? Because like if you've never cooked in your life and you want your girl to have like 7 meals a week, like first of all, it's not gonna happen, and second
No,
of all,
it's not.
why are you putting this like energy on you, right?
Right.
Like me personally, I love to cook. Like I would cook every single day if I had the
Oh
time.
God, you should marry Javi then, because I don't be cooking.
But I get home late, right? So like I get home at 7, 8 o'clock.
Right.
By the time so it's more of a process, right? So it's a compromise.
Just side note with that, I do want to say shout out to a lot of men. I feel like a lot of men nowadays like are really killing it in cooking.
I agree.
I know a
Shout
lot
out
of
my
men.
man. Thank you to my
I know
man.
a lot of men who like are pretty good cooks.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
They are.
So shout out to y'all.
Shout out to Javi. He cooked the other night and he got lucky.
Yes, he did. Yeah, I smashed both my plates.
His plate and
And Javi.
and her husband.
Love that. I love that.
I know. Yeah, he did. I was like in a whole different, like I went to doctor earlier and I was like just not in a good place. And I was like, I'm going to rest and do nothing and do any work, nothing. And he cooked me a whole like Thanksgiving meal and it was everything. You're right. Like marrying that supportive partner, like being there for that person and just being,
I
being
think
united.
I think as women we could do maybe a better job of just like when men are doing things that maybe like we could brush under the rug, like we could shout them out a little bit, make them feel good, give them their kudos. Like, you know
sure.
what? You're killing it. Because we're
I'm
not.
trying to say give him coochie.
No, kudos.
Kudos.
No, like although like we are obviously we have a large woman following, right?
I would say so.
We're not male bashers though, and I do
At
think
all.
we want to applaud men who are genuine, good men who are supportive and caring and allow their women or their partners to be in their feminine or safe space.
I love that.
Good energy, and
You a real one.
we wish that upon everybody. We want all our women to feel they could be
Yes.
divine queens in their feminine, soft girl energy, whatever it is.
Yay. And on that note, namaste, because I feel like we just did yoga or something, right? Doesn't it feel like we just did something like peaceful, peace and serenity? No, but this is a really great conversation, and I think it was an important one to have, and I love that we were able to bring in like our women's perspective, and then we had Marco really chiming in, especially when it comes to just like the male perspective, male side, a father, so I love it. Thank you for tuning in. Follow us on social at Never Too Shy Pod.
Yep.
On Instagram, and then follow me at Paulina Rowe.
At Talk with Tati.
And we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.